Traditionally, we work to make money, and we keep working till we retire at the age of 65. But what if I told you you could escape the corporate rat race in your 30s? You got your time back, and you had enough money to afford the lifestyle you always wanted.
I'm just a big toasty cinnamon bun. I never want to leave this bed.
In today's video, I will share with you the steps to financial freedom. So if you want the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, make sure you watch this video till the end. Before I tell you what financial freedom is, I need to explain what passive income is. It's earned income that requires little to no work to maintain. Passive income does require an initial investment of time and/or money, but once the passive income source is created, it will continue to make you money with very little maintenance. Now, financial freedom is when your passive income exceeds your expenses. If you usually spend $3,000 a month, and you passively make $3,500 a month, you are financially free. This means you don't need to work a traditional 9-to-5 job to pay for all your expenses. Now you have the freedom to do the things you actually like. So essentially, you're retired. Before we get into the steps of financial freedom, can I get you to hit the like button and share this video on social media? Step 1, set a goal and make a plan. To achieve financial freedom, you need to make a savings plan, an income plan, and an investment plan. How much do you need to save for your financial goals? How much do you need to make to achieve your goals? And how much do you need to invest to achieve your goals? If you're 20 now and you want to achieve financial freedom by age 30, you need a step-by-step plan to make it happen. One of the most popular strategies is the FIRE movement. FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. First, you need to figure out your current yearly expenses. Then times that by 25. So if you spend $3,000 a month, that's $36,000. Times that by 25, that's $900,000. This is your FIRE number. So if you had $900,000 in an investment portfolio and earned an average return of 7% a year and only withdrew 4% every year, you would have $36,000, enough to cover your expenses for a full year. This rule includes 3% inflation every year. Okay, now you need a plan to get this $900,000 portfolio. If you want to reach this in 10 years, you'll need to save $4,500 a month and invest that and earn an average stock market return of 10%.
No way I can save $4,500 a month.
So you need to adjust your plan. You can lower the FIRE number, lower your expenses, save more, make more money, and/or adjust your timeline goal. What if you could survive on $30,000 a year in retirement? Your portfolio will only need to be $750,000 now. And let's say you did increase your income and lowered your monthly expenses, so you can now invest $1,900 a month. This would only take you 15 years to reach your goal. And maybe your goal isn't to fully retire. Maybe you always wanted to change careers but couldn't afford the pay cut. Maybe you only want to work part-time. Or maybe you want to start that small business that you never had time for. This extra income can positively increase your lifestyle after retirement. Working at something that you enjoy and interests you won't feel like work. Step 2, cut back your expenses and save money. In order to achieve financial freedom in a short period, you'll need to save money like you never did before. These savings will be used to pay off your debt, build an emergency fund, and fund your portfolio and other investments. You'll want to save at least 50% of your income and up to 80%. The ideal savings rate is around 70% if you want to reach financial freedom in 10 years or less. This is not an easy feat, but it can be done, and it has been done. I never said achieving financial freedom at an early age was going to be easy. You're trying to achieve one of life's biggest goals in a shorter period of time. So obviously it's going to take more hard work and sacrifice. To save a lot of money, you need to break from consumer culture and take a minimalist approach to spending. A quote from Dave Ramsey, "Live like no one else, so later you can live like no one else." One of the best ways to save money is to create a budget. This is a spending plan for your money. When you create a budget, you can assign where every dollar you make goes. And in your budget, you should pay yourself first. Once you get paid, before you do any spending, put away the money you need to save. This is paying yourself first. If you want to learn more about budgeting, I have a dedicated video on it, so check out that video after this one, link in the video description below. So what are actual ways to reduce your spending? The biggest expense in your budget will most likely be your housing costs. To greatly reduce this cost, I suggest you try house hacking. If you have extra rooms in your house, you could rent out these rooms to reduce your housing costs. If you're looking for housing, you could just rent a room in a house and live with roommates. Another way to house hack is to buy a multi-unit property. Live in one unit and rent out the other units. With the tenant's rent money, it's possible you can cover your share of the mortgage and you could have your housing for free. Your second biggest expense is usually your transportation costs. To reduce this cost, get rid of the new car payment and buy yourself a 10-year-old Honda or a Toyota. This will also reduce your insurance costs. Also, don't buy more than what you need. Some people need a truck, some people need an SUV, but if you can get away with buying a Toyota Yaris, it will save you a lot of money in parts and gas. And if you can get away with not driving at all,
Do it. Do it.
there's so many different ways you can save money. I could create a YouTube channel on just saving money. In fact, there's thousands of them already out there. So my advice would be to search for these frugal living, budget, get out of debt, and Dave Ramsey's We Trust channels and watch the hell out of all the money saving videos you can. Knowledge is your greatest weapon to accomplish what you're trying to achieve. Also, your mindset will play a big role in this. If you're watching this video, your mindset is already heading in the right direction. To give it another boost, click on the big red subscribe button and let it the bell notification. Also, check out books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, The 4-Hour Work Week, and The Total Money Makeover. These are the books that changed my mindset and started me on my journey to managing my money and financial freedom. Step 3, build an emergency fund. When you're trying to achieve financial freedom, life will throw you a curveball. Without an emergency fund, these emergencies can cost you more than they need to. Imagine if your car breaks down and it's going to cost you $1,000 to fix. If you didn't have an emergency fund, what would your options be? Use a credit card and pay 20% interest? Use an unsecured loan and pay 50% interest? Or at the very last resort, get a payday loan and pay up to 500% interest? With an emergency fund, you can easily take care of these unexpected expenses. These emergency funds will give you a peace of mind that will reduce your financial stress and improve other aspects of your life. I recommend saving $1,000 to $2,000, depending on your situation. This will be the little insurance policy if anything happens. Once you have this and step 4 completed, you can slowly build up your 3 to 6 months of living expenses, more or less depending on your situation. Step 4, pay off your debt. Before you can grow your money and reach financial freedom, you need to get yourself out of debt. Car loans, student loans, mortgages, personal loans, and the worst of the bunch, credit cards. Debt can be a tool used to create wealth or a burden used to ruin your finances. Either way, these financial obligations can cause you financial stress and a lot of interest. High interest debt like credit cards should be paid off right away before you do any investing. 20% interest on credit cards will cost you more than what you can earn on average in the stock market. Debts like a mortgage have a lower interest rate, so it would make more sense to use a mortgage as leverage and invest the rest for a higher return. Other financial gurus will tell you to pay off your mortgage early before you reach financial freedom for a guaranteed savings on interest and overall reducing your risks. There's many different strategies you can use, and yours will depend on your personal situation. The main thing is that you pay off all of your other debts before you start investing and building your 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Step 5, earn more money. The more income you earn, the sooner you can reach financial freedom. To increase your income, you can always try to get a raise or try to work more hours. If that's not possible, then consider switching to a different company. If that's not possible, go to school or go back to school and get a high-paying job so you're able to make more money and save more money. Or skip the 3 to 4 years of school and only do a year of school and get yourself into a trade. Decent pay, less schooling, and less student loan debt. The thing is, if you go back to school, you need to consider income years lost and plus the student loan debt. Another option which has a lot of work involved and more risks is to start a business. The benefits can be a greater opportunity for more income. Either way, it's up to you which path you take. Just make sure you crunch the numbers to see which path makes the most sense to you. And I hate to burst your bubble, but if you're making minimum wage, even if you manage to live like a hermit, you probably won't reach financial freedom in a reasonable period. Unless you vested all your money into GameStop and it grew by 7,000%. But ideally, you want to make at least $50K a year. The more you can make, the more you can spend and save. You can also create additional sources of income by getting a part-time job or starting a side hustle. There's plenty of time in a day to keep working. You ain't gonna reach financial freedom watching Netflix and playing video games in your spare time. But what do you do if your main source of income has peaked and you've dedicated your spare time to your side hustle and you still don't make enough? This is where passive income comes in. Passive income makes money while you sleep. Why don't you try to build yourself a passive income source? If you want to learn more about passive income, after you watch this video, check out my passive income video, link in the video description below. Step 6, invest your money. Financial freedom in your 30s is impossible to achieve without investing. Well, for your average blue-collar worker. And investing is the main factor to maintaining financial freedom. Look at it this way. Let's say you save $4,000 a month for 10 years and you didn't invest it. You would have $480,000. But if you did invest it and managed to get a 10% return, you would have around $820,000. And if your portfolio managed to match how the S&P 500 did in the last 10 years, you would have a return of 13.6% and your portfolio would be roughly over $1 million. You can thank compound interest for that. This is when your earnings are reinvested and generate additional earnings over time. With compound interest, your money grows exponentially. So not in a straight line, but with a nice curve in it. Compound interest works better the longer it's in effect, so it's important to start investing as soon as possible. When you're ready to start investing, you have a few methods to choose from. You can go the completely passive way and invest with a robo-advisor, or you can build yourself a lazy ETF portfolio and do index investing, like invest in a S&P 500 ETF. Or if you think you can beat the market, you can try to invest in individual stocks. Doing this requires a lot more time and is more risky because it's not as diversified, but you would get the best returns. And if you want the best of both worlds, you can build a portfolio with index ETFs and individual stocks, and maybe throw in some REITs. Now, I can't tell you what to invest in because everyone has different financial goals, different risk tolerance, different skill sets, and different personal situations. So make sure you do your own research when investing in the stock market. Also, the stock market isn't the only way to invest. You can also choose to invest in private equity, real estate, and peer-to-peer lending. The more you diversify, the more you reduce your risks. Also, you may want to consider investing in your own business. It doesn't need to be full-time, something you can do in your spare time. Starting a business takes a bit to get off the ground, but if successful, you can generate a steady income. And once you reach financial freedom, you don't need to give up your business, but you can quit your 9-to-5 job and focus on your business or whatever you like. The point of financial freedom isn't to retire and drink beers on the beach. The point is to take money out of the equation. If you didn't need to work at your 9-to-5 job, you'd have your time back to actually enjoy life. You can spend more time with family and friends, travel, pursue hobbies and interests that you never had time for, and you don't actually have to retire. You just now have the freedom to work at whatever you want. Like maybe you wanted to start a YouTube channel or a blog. Maybe you want to get into woodworking or publish a book. Either way, it's up to you now. My plan is to reach financial freedom by the age of 35. I don't plan to strictly rely on a massive investment portfolio, and I don't plan to completely retire. I will still continue to produce content through YouTube, and I plan to get into rental properties for additional passive income. Combine that with capital gains and dividend income, and I'll be able to quit my 9-to-5 job.
No, yeah, everything's fine. Hey, listen, I quit.
So educate yourself as much as possible, live below your means, create multiple sources of income, active and passive, and then invest that income. Once you reach financial freedom, you can stop working for money and let money work for you. If you got any comments or questions, comment them below. If you want to continue learning, check out one of the videos at the right of the screen. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep making money moves. Peace!